Hello, this is Dyesha Hicks, and I'm here for the Young, Gifted, and Black Entrepreneurial Awards. And we're coming to you from Milk River, our 2017 venue host. I am so pleased today to be here with a 2017 recipient, Roger Milliner. How are you, Roger?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You're welcome, and congratulations. You're receiving a hefty award. How do you feel about that?
I feel good. I'm glad to be honored and recognized for all of the years of work that I put into, building the health insurance industry in New York City and making sure that New Yorkers are well covered and have the proper insurance that they need.
Since 1991 to 2011, you have 16 noted awards and recognition. So let's talk about what it takes to have all of those accomplishments under your belt. And of course, for a black man, it's not too easy in the corporate community. So we really want to hear, what did it take for you to strive so high?
Well, I think mainly it's the drive and the passion that I had for what I was doing. A lot of what I did just came natural because I was committed to it. I felt that it was important, for the community. I really felt that, black people especially needed to be aware of what options were available and not hinder their health care because they were unaware or uneducated about what was available from a cost perspective, the various plan options, providers that were available. So mainly it was the drive that I had and the commitment to what I was doing and the care for the community, the care to make sure that people were fully knowledgeable of options that were available to them. That was mainly the drive and the reason for, a lot of the success, because I did it with passion, I did it with commitment, I did it with dedication to the industry. I made sure that I networked and multiplied myself so that everywhere I went, I spoke healthcare. There was no off time for me. It wasn't, my work stopped at a certain time of the day. I worked continuously around the clock. So every opportunity to be networking, to meet other people was an opportunity for me to share what I was doing and to network and see if I could help them.
Tell us what the biggest misconception is about healthcare.
Well, there's two, and I'm going to speak from a health insurance perspective, and I'll pick a target group like millennials. So the young people, a lot of young people don't feel that they need health insurance. They really deal with it in a situational sense. If something happens, if I'm, out and I trip and fall and I break a leg, then I need health insurance. Or if I'm, out at the club one night and, I have a mishap, they only address health insurance when it's needed. So that's a big issue, that you only need it at the time. You need health insurance for regular daily routine stuff like checkups and doctor visits, to do a lot of the preventive stuff that people don't think is important, and they only deal with crisis health insurance. And the other misconception is the affordability of it. Yes, historically, health insurance has been costly, and there's a lot of things that drive up healthcare costs, pharmaceutical drugs and costs that, at certain providers. However, I'm a proponent of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, otherwise known as. And so I really feel that government-sponsored health insurance option really made that unaffordability go away. People are entitled to subsidies and all types of assistance to get their health care. So young people just need to know that health care is affordable. There are a lot of options to get subsidies and assistance. And I always tell this joke that if you really just sit down and speak with someone, you might find that your health insurance may cost less than your cell phone bill. They don't move without that cell phone bill, and I know cell phone bills are high. Some people can get health insurance for cheaper than what their cell phone bill costs. So affordability is a misconception, and the fact that you really only need it when there's a crisis. You need it for other situations like preventive medicine, etc.
Now, you said something that was key, Obamacare. What is the biggest misconceptions about that? Because what you hear in the media and even political is it was the most damaging thing that was created. And then that starts just like an energy of Obama came in and just, uprooted some type of system, when that's not true. How challenging was that when Obama was put into effect for your job role, or was it even challenging at all?
Well, absolutely. And one of the things I'm most proud of, I've been in the healthcare industry for well over 30 years. And as you said, I received a lot of awards. But one of my proudest moments was being part of that whole Affordable Care Act movement. This was something that I know I'll probably never see again in my lifetime. And this was history that was made. When you have a major reform that happened to the healthcare industry, not just in New York City, but across the entire country, that affected so many people, I'm glad to say that here in New York, I was a major part of this major, mind-blowing, national movement. So, Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, there are over 20 million people that have insurance now because of Obamacare. And I don't know how you could say that something with that is wrong. So in New York City alone, we did a phenomenal job. We're one of the leading states in regards to being the model of how it best works. And there's some states that have numbers that are lower and some a little higher, but New York has almost 3 million people that have insurance because of Obamacare. That's covering a lot of people. Now, the misconceptions about Obamacare, that the rates are too high. Yes, there are certain things that could be done to improve rates. Drug costs continue to rise, so that drives up costs. Some of the misconceptions is that it doesn't cover enough people, the lack of awareness. Those are some of the things that could be improved on. But overall, when you have almost 3 million people being covered by this insurance that potentially may lose it if there's repeal to this law, we're talking about people now being without coverage. 3 million people just in the state of New York. So I'd like to not see that happen, and we're doing everything we can to fight this repeal and to make sure that a lot of the things that were put in place, the good stuff, like children being able to stay on their parents' health insurance longer. People being able to no pre-existing conditions, equal rates, no matter what your gender is, that it will be equal rates. Tax credits and tax subsidies and payments to help you pay the bill. Those are all great things. People don't talk about that enough. They only want to focus on the fact that there's some issues with things like rising costs. New York had the lowest rate of cost increase than any other state. If you look, we have a spreadsheet and chart that shows you all the different states. New York has the lowest insurance rate increases than many other states. So we're the model here in New York about how to do it right.
And Roger, you're definitely doing it right. So where did this begin for you to get into this type of field? And did you have any other passions that you could have gotten into but led you here?
Well, I definitely didn't know I was going to end up in healthcare. I went to James Madison High School here in Brooklyn, and I kind of knew Carl from those days. I was heavy into sports, basketball and football team. I then went to City College, and immediately going to City College, I got on the basketball team, and we were doing real well. Winning championships in my first year. The second year, we was about to go to the championship again, and then almost the entire starting team, including me, had issues with grades, and we all failed off, and so I couldn't play anymore. They dismantled the team, and the coach was pretty upset because we were heading towards the championship. So I took a break from school. I went 2 years at City College, took a break for about 7 years, and then just didn't feel rewarded without completing that. So I actually got a job at this very same company, Metro Plus, many years ago, and started out as a sales representative. And because I really had a passion for speaking to people and networking and making sure that it was the goal, the challenge of having a goal in front of me, I really did well, that it just took off. I got promoted several times, became a supervisor, then a manager, then I had big territory regions, all of New York City, all of Long Island, many of the upstate counties like Rockland County, Putnam County, and just got good at it, and over the years got promoted. So I wanted to be a lawyer. I actually went to City College originally thinking I was going to be a lawyer because my mother said I love to argue a lot and debate and stuff like that. So I started out going to be a lawyer, but then something drew me to this field of healthcare, and I found it to be a career that I could really excel in. I even at one point wanted to be a civil servant. I was going to be a police officer or correction officer, but I'm glad I chose this field. I don't have to run from bullets and chase people down in a prison. So wear a suit and help people. Yes.
How do you feel about YGB?
I'm truly honored, and I feel that organizations like this, there's a purpose and a need to inspire people. Receiving this is going to actually make me want to put in another 30 years if I can in this industry, because I recognize that when people see what you're doing and they see that you're doing a good thing, it'll rise, it'll come to the surface. So this is an inspiration for the young salespeople coming up, the marketing reps, the supervisors and managers who eventually want to aspire to run the department and run, the major sales and marketing arm of a big national and big citywide health insurance company like mine. So we need organizations like this.
February 22nd, we will see you. I absolutely enjoyed this opportunity to interview you. You did a smashing job. Thank you, Roger. Once again, congratulations. Happy 2017 to you.